Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, let us understand some basics about covalent bond. What is covalent bond? In a simple way, we can say that it is nothing but the bond formed by sharing of electrons, isn't it? But let me give you more appropriate definition as per the 11th and 12th standard. First, let me write the definition. Here it is. It is a bond formed by equal contribution. This is a new word for you. Equal contribution and mutual sharing of electrons. So the bond which is formed by equal contribution and mutual sharing of electrons, that is called as covalent bond. Let me explain these terms. What is the meaning of equal contribution? It means both the atoms which are involved in bonding contribute same number of electrons. I repeat, both the atoms which are involved in bonding contribute same number of electrons. That is the meaning of equal contribution. Don't worry, I will explain with the help of the examples also. Then, what is the meaning of mutual sharing? So, it means both the atoms which are involved in bonding will share those electrons. Mutual means both, isn't it? Mutual means both. So both the atoms which are involved in bonding share those electrons. Means those electrons which are participating in bonding should be counted for both the atoms which are involved in bonding. So the bond which is formed by equal contribution and mutual sharing of electrons, that is called as the covalent bond. Before going to the examples, let me give you the various types of covalent bond we come across. We have two different types. While explaining the types, I will explain the examples. The first one, it is non-polar covalent bond. It is non-polar covalent bond. And the second type, it is polar covalent bond. Now let us understand what is this non-polar covalent bond. Whenever the two atoms which are involved in bonding, they possess either same electronegativity or similar electronegativity, then the covalent bond formed, we call it as non-polar covalent bond. So before going deep into this, first let us revise what is electronegativity. Now come on, recollect what is electronegativity. It is nothing but the tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the bonded pair of electrons or the shared pair of electrons more towards itself. It means out of the two bonded atoms, which is having the tendency to attract electrons more towards itself, that is called as the electronegativity. So whenever the two atoms which are involved in bonding, they are having the electron attracting property almost same or similar, then the covalent bond formed is called as non-polar covalent bond. Let me explain this with the help of an example. Let us take a simplest example, which is formation of hydrogen molecule. Now we know that atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So there is only one electron with hydrogen. And we also know that the nearest noble gas element to this hydrogen is helium. And how many electrons are there in helium? 2 electrons. So in order to get these 2 electrons in the outermost orbit, this hydrogen requires one more electron, isn't it? So two such hydrogen atoms contribute one electron each. So this is one electron contributed by one hydrogen, and this is the other hydrogen, it is also contributing one electron. See here. Now, both the hydrogen atoms are contributing one electron each, and that electron pair is shared by both of them. Means these two electrons are counted for the hydrogen present on left hand side, and the same two electrons are also counted for the hydrogen present on the right hand side, isn't it? Now these two electrons which are present at the center, they are counted for both of them, and those electrons which are involved in bonding, we call them as the bond pair of electrons. What is that one? Bond pair or the shared pair of electrons. As both the atoms which are involved in bonding are same, they are having the same properties. So whenever they are having the same properties, they will be attracting this electron pair equally. Means this electron pair lies exactly at the center and they are attracted equally by both of them. So there is no charges here. There is no development of charges. Whenever charges develop, we use the word called as polar. Polarity means development of charges. I'll write here polarity, or polar means development of charges, development of positive and negative charges. That is called as polarity. Now, as both of them are attracting equally, so there is no chance of any development of charges here. As no charge is developed, we are calling this one as non-polar. Non-polar matlab no charges. Clear? Non-polar means there is no development of charges. Why no charges? Why charge is not developed here? Because the atoms which are involved in bonding, they are having same properties or similar properties, and both of them are attracting the electrons equally. It means they are having same electronegativity or similar electronegativity. So that is the reason the bond formed is called as the non-polar covalent bond. And you will understand more when we discuss the polar covalent bond. So what is this polar covalent bond? Whenever covalent bond is formed between atoms of dissimilar electronegativity, whenever a covalent bond is formed between atoms of dissimilar electronegativity, then we call it as polar covalent bond. Let's understand by taking an example. Let us take hydrogen chloride. Now here it involves two atoms, hydrogen as well as chlorine, isn't it? Hydrogen atomic number is 1, so there is only one electron in the outermost orbit, whereas chlorine atomic number is 17. So when you write the electronic configuration, we write it as 2, 8, 7, isn't it? So there are 7 electrons in the outermost orbit of chlorine. Now, to get the nearest noble gas configuration, or in another way, to get the octet configuration, what is this word called octet? Getting 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. Getting 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. So simply octet configuration means 8 electrons. So in order to get 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, what should this chlorine do? It should either gain 1 electron, or by sharing it should get 1 electron, isn't it? As we are talking about the covalent bond, here it is not gaining of electrons or losing of electrons, it is a sharing of electrons. So it will get 1 electron from the other atom which is involved in sharing. And what is that other atom? It is nothing but hydrogen here. So now hydrogen is contributing 1 electron, and chlorine is also contributing 1 electron. Electrons of chlorine I am representing by cross. And this method of representation of electrons and drawing these structures, we call them as Lewis dot structures. What are these? These are Lewis dot structures. And it is very, very important to know how to write the Lewis dot structures, because in minimum 4 to 5 chapters of inorganic chemistry, we will use this concept. One is in the same chapter, chemical bonding. We come across this one in P block. In P block, we have several individual chapters like 13 group, 14 group, up to 18th group. So here, one electron of hydrogen is this one, and the other electron of chlorine which is involved in bonding is this one. So now both the atoms are contributing one electron each. So these two electrons we can count for hydrogen. So it is getting the helium configuration of 2 electrons in outermost orbit. And these 8 electrons we will count for chlorine. See how we are getting 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This chlorine is getting 8 electrons, means chlorine is getting the octet configuration. So when both the atoms are contributing 1 electron each, both of them are getting stability by getting nearest noble gas configuration, isn't it? Now let us come back to the point polar. Here both the atoms which are involved in bonding are different. When both the atoms which are involved in bonding are different, definitely uska properties different rahega, isn't it? So when they are having different properties, here we are talking about the electron attracting property. So here, out of these two, chlorine is having the tendency to attract the electrons more towards itself. So that is the reason why we get partial negative charge on the chlorine and partial positive charge on hydrogen. Why I am using the word partial? Because if any atom is accepting electrons, directly we write it as negative ion like Cl minus. If any atom is losing electrons, it becomes positive ion like H plus, isn't it? But here it is not losing or gaining of electrons, it is sharing of electrons, and that too unequal sharing, isn't it? Unequal sharing means one of the atom is attracting the electrons more towards itself. The one which is getting the electrons, the one which is bringing the electrons more closer towards itself, is getting partial negative charge, and the other one is getting partial positive charge. So polarity is developed here. Positive pole and negative pole is developed here. As whenever charges are developed on the molecule, means polarity is developed in the molecule, we call this one as polar covalent bond. I think now it's clear for you. What is non-polar covalent bond? Whenever the atoms involved in bonding belong to the same element, or which are having, or when the atoms involved belong to different elements but they should have similar electronegativity, then we call it as non-polar covalent bond. Then polar covalent bond is the case when a covalent bond is formed between the atoms of dissimilar electronegativity. Why it is dissimilar? Because the atoms which are involved in bonding belong to two different elements. As the elements are different, their properties are different. So here we are talking about the electron attracting property. So their attracting power is different. So one of them get partial positive charge and other one we get partial negative charge. So this partial term we express in terms of this delta symbol. So this will be a very familiar term in the across 11th and 12th syllabus. So that's the basic difference between non-polar covalent bond and polar covalent bond. Let us take the case of formation of chlorine molecule. We know that there are 17 electrons in chlorine, out of which 7 are present in the outermost orbit, isn't it? To get the nearest noble gas configuration, it just requires one more electron. So as we are talking about the chlorine molecule, two such chlorine atoms are involved where both the atoms contribute one electron each. Now the very important point is, out of the 7 valence electrons, you should get a doubt why only 1 electron is involved in bonding. Why not 2 or why not 3? Tell me on which concept it is based. It is nothing but based on the valency concept. Here both the chlorine atom require only one more electron to get the octet configuration. So to get that octet configuration they require only one electron. That is the reason out of the 7 only one electron is contributed. So this chlorine is contributing one electron and I am writing the remaining 6 electrons here. And this chlorine, it is also contributing one electron and these are the remaining 6 electrons. Now see, this chlorine is having 7 plus 1, 8 electrons and this is also having 7 plus 1, 8 electrons. So both are getting octet, isn't it? But remember one thing, even though I am saying that this is getting octet configuration and this is also getting octet configuration, don't do LKG additions and there are no 16 electrons in the outermost orbit, isn't it? Because these 2 electrons are common for both of them. So this is separately having 8 electrons in outermost orbit. This chlorine is also having 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. It does not mean that both together have 16 electrons, as 2 electrons are common for both of them. As one electron pair is involved, means 2 electrons involved in bonding. That is the reason why there exists single bond between them. When 2 electrons are involved, one from both the atoms, a single covalent bond is formed. So that is how the chlorine molecule is formed. Let us take the example of oxygen. You will understand much better how to write the Lewis dot structures. Come on, recollect the electronic configuration of oxygen. What is its atomic number? Its atomic number is 8. So when atomic number is 8, it is having configuration 2, 6 and there are 6 electrons in the outermost orbit, isn't it? To get nearest noble gas configuration or to get the octet configuration, how many more electrons are required? 2 electrons, isn't it? As oxygen requires 2 more electrons to get the nearest noble gas configuration. So now tell me, how many electrons of each oxygen will participate in bonding? What is that number? It is nothing but 2, isn't it? Out of the 6 electrons, I will write 4 electrons separately and I will write 2 electrons in between the 2 atoms. Clear? So here it is. This is one oxygen with its 2 electrons and these are the remaining 4 valence electrons. This is the second oxygen and this is its 2 electrons which are going to participate in bonding and these are the remaining 4. Now see here, both the atoms are contributing 2 electrons each. So this is getting 6 plus 2, 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. The second oxygen is also getting 6 plus 2, 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, isn't it? Now recollect the definition of covalent bond. Equal contribution and mutual sharing of electrons. Equal contribution. What is the meaning of equal contribution here? Both the atoms which are involved in bonding, they are contributing 2 electrons each. And here mutual sharing. Both the atoms which are involved in bonding, they are sharing the common electrons, isn't it? And both the atoms which are involved here, they belong to the same element. That is the reason no charges developed here. We call it as the non-polar covalent bond. Isn't it easy now? Yes. So if you are very strong in the basics, you can understand any topic of chemistry or any topic of any subject. Now here, as totally 4 electrons are involved here, means 2 pairs of electrons are involved. When 2 pairs of electrons are involved, the bond formed between the 2 oxygen atoms is double bond. So we represent like this. Oxygen, double bond, oxygen. So there is a double bond in the case of oxygen. So now I will ask you, how many electrons are involved in formation of oxygen? I am writing here. How many electrons are involved during oxygen formation? How many electrons? We need to count all these 4 electrons, that is, which are common for both the atoms. So what will be answer? It is nothing but 4. As there is a double bond, each bond involves 2 electrons. So totally there are 4 electrons involved during the formation of oxygen. Now let's move to another example. It is nitrogen molecule formation. So what is the atomic number of nitrogen? It is 7. So how many electrons are there in its outermost orbit? 5, because its electronic configuration is 2, 5. It is having 5 valence electrons. When there are 5 valence electrons, how many electrons of nitrogen should participate in bonding? Definitely it is 3, isn't it? Why it is 3? Because to get the octet configuration, nitrogen require 3 more electrons. So how many electrons are participating? Both the nitrogen atoms which are involved in bonding, they contribute 3 electrons each. So for first nitrogen, these are the 3 electrons, and these are the remaining 2 electrons. For the second nitrogen, these are the 3 electrons which are participate in bonding. These are the remaining 2 electrons. Now see, if I count the electrons, this nitrogen atom is getting 8 electrons and this is also getting 8 electrons, isn't it? So here total 3 pairs of electrons are involved, or 6 electrons are involved. As 3 pairs of electrons are involved, the bond formed between the 2 nitrogen atoms is nothing but a triple bond. And how many electrons are involved in bond formation of nitrogen? They are 6 electrons, and this was given in previous examination also. The number of electrons involved during the formation of nitrogen molecule is nothing but 6. And here also, both the atoms which are involved in bonding belong to the same element. This will also be an example of non-polar covalent bond. So let me give you the examples of non-polar covalent bond at one place. So what will be the examples? I can write hydrogen, I can write chlorine, I can write even bromine and so on, same kind of examples. I can write oxygen, I can write nitrogen and so on. Then what will be the examples of polar covalent bond? Here, one example which we already covered, that is hydrogen chloride. If I write HCl, I can also write HBr. So some other examples are water, ammonia and so on. So all these, majority of the examples come under this polar covalent bond, where atoms of different elements are involved. So there is difference in attraction property of the atoms involved in bonding. So polarity is developed. Let's understand some more examples like formation of ammonia. See here, one element involved here is nitrogen, whose atomic number is 7. Its valence electrons are 2, 5, isn't it? Now another element involved is hydrogen. Its atomic number is 1 and there is only 1 electron. Now as we know that hydrogen requires only 1 more electron to get nearest noble gas configuration. Here we will not use the word called octet for the case of hydrogen, as it can get maximum 2 electrons in its outermost orbit. We say it as duplet configuration. So what is duplet configuration? Having 2 valence electrons. Having 2 valence electrons, that is called as the duplet configuration. And of course nitrogen can get totally 8 electrons. So nitrogen can have totally 8 electrons in its valence shell. So nitrogen will try to get 3 electrons from different sources. Now Let us take the nitrogen, and on 3 sides we write 3 hydrogens separately. As we already know, hydrogen contributes always 1 electron because it is having only 1 electron. And this nitrogen, as it requires 3 more electrons, it cannot contribute 3 electrons with 1 hydrogen, isn't it? Why? Because it should be always equal contribution. If hydrogen is contributing 1 electron, how can nitrogen contribute 3 electrons? It can give only 1 electron. So 1 electron of nitrogen is involved in bonding with this hydrogen, 1 more electron with this hydrogen, and another electron here, and still nitrogen is having 2 electrons with it. Now see, this hydrogen is getting the duplet configuration, and this hydrogen is also getting the duplet configuration, and this is also getting. Now count the electrons for nitrogen. Here are they. There are totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. So nitrogen got the octet configuration and hydrogen got the duplet configuration. And let me give you a new term. Let me give you a new technical word here. See, these 2 electrons, they are not involved in bonding, isn't it? And those electrons which are present on the central atom of a molecule, which are not involved in bonding, they are called as lone pair of electrons. What are lone pair of electrons? The pair of electrons which are present on the central atom. What is central atom here? It is nitrogen. So in the valence shell of nitrogen, there are 2 electrons which are not involved in bonding. They are alone with the nitrogen only. So they are called as the lone pair of electrons. So here is a new word, lone pair of electrons. What are lone pair? The pair of electrons on the central atom which are not involved in bonding, they are called as the lone pair of electrons. You need to write it somewhere, these definitions. Then what about these electrons? These are the electrons which are involved in bonding. So what name you can give to this one? Those electrons which participate in bonding, they are called as the bond pair of electrons. So what are bond pair of electrons? These are the pair of electrons which are involved in bonding. Now let's move on to a very important example where you will be learning some more new terms. Let us take the formation of BF3 molecule. And what is BF3? This is nothing but boron trifluoride. Boron trifluoride. Now, the electronic configuration of boron is 2, 3 as atomic number is 5. And for fluorine, it is 2, 7. So number of valence electrons in boron are 3 and number of valence electrons in fluorine are 7. Whatever structures I am explaining here, these are called as Lewis dot structures. These are Lewis dot structures. So now let's write the Lewis dot structure for BF3 molecule. Let me write boron at the center and fluorine in this particular way. Now let me write the valence electrons of fluorine. So they are 7 in number, and we know that fluorine requires 1 more electron to get the octet configuration. So that is the reason why only 1 electron of fluorine is involved in bonding. So I will write 1 electron here separately, and I will write all the remaining 6 electrons here, isn't it? Now same with the second fluorine as well as the third fluorine. Now come to the boron. How many valence electrons are there in boron? Only 3. So as this fluorine contributed 1 electron, boron also contribute 1 electron. same towards this fluorine, same towards this fluorine as well as this one. Now let us count the electrons. So these are the 8 electrons or octet configuration for fluorine. Again 8 for this fluorine. As well as 8 electrons in the valence shell for this fluorine. Now count the electrons in the valence shell of boron. Here is the important point. How many electrons are there? There are only 6, isn't it? So this particular compound is not obeying octet rule. So this is an example where it is not obeying octet rule. And such compounds where the central atom of the molecule possess less than 8 electrons, they are called as electron deficient compounds. So here is a new word for you. So what are electron deficient compounds? Electron deficient compounds are the compounds in which the central atom of the molecule possess less than 8 electrons. So wherever less than 8 electrons rahega, we call them as electron deficient. And this is also an example where it is not obeying octet rule. Is it clear? Now let's go to the another example. Again you learn a different word in that particular example. Let us take the case of PCl5 molecule. Here electronic configuration of phosphorus is 2, 8, 5, isn't it? Then for the case of chlorine, it is 2, 8, 7. So number of valence electrons in phosphorus are 5 and 7 in the case of chlorine. Let us write the Lewis dot structure. This is our phosphorus and these are the 5 chlorines. Now in chlorine, in the outermost orbit there are only 7 electrons. So definitely it requires one more electron to get the nearest noble gas configuration. As it requires one more electron to get the noble gas configuration, out of the 7 valence electrons, only 1 electron of each chlorine is involved in bonding. So 1 I had written separately in between chlorine and phosphorus. Remaining 6 I am writing with chlorine. Same with the case of other chlorines also. Each and every chlorine contribute only 1 electron towards the phosphorus to form a bond. Isn't it? Now these are the remaining electrons. Now if chlorine is contributing 1 electron towards the phosphorus, phosphorus also contribute 1 electron. Same towards this chlorine and the remaining chlorines also. And phosphorus utilized all its valence electrons during the formation of PCl5. So now count the number of electrons. Chlorine is getting its octet configuration 7 plus 1, 8. And this chlorine isn't it? All the chlorines are getting octet configuration. Then what will be the case of phosphorus? See here. You need to draw this carefully so that the electrons are not messed up here. Count the electrons. The total number of electrons in the valence shell of phosphorus in PCl5 are 10. Isn't it? This is again an example where it is not obeying octet rule. So we got 2 examples. One example is BF3 molecule. Second example is PCl5. This condition we call it as expanded octet. Means it is more, expanded means more here. So What is more? More than 8. So we have more than 8 electrons in the valence shell of phosphorus. That is the reason why we call it as expanded octet. So this is again a new term for you. And this was already given in previous entrance exam. The number of valence electrons in phosphorus in PCl5. Simply the answer is 10. So that is about some technical words which we come across in covalent bonding. I hope you had enjoyed this. In the next video, we shall again discuss some more new terms.